English by the Nature Method by Arthur M. Jensen. Brought to you by Ayan Academy.
Chapter 41. The First Day at the Office. The morning after the departure of his friends, Storm went by bus to his new office, where he was at once taken in to see the manager. "Good morning, sir," Storm said as he entered the manager's office. "It is really a great pleasure to me to start working here." "Good morning, Storm," answered the manager. "It is also a pleasure to us to have you work for us. I am not only pleased to start here, but I am glad to remain in London. There are still so many things that I wish to see, and now that I am going to remain here for another 5 or 6 months, it will be possible for me to see them all," Storm continued. "I think you said it was your first visit to a foreign country. Don't you think that you will miss many things that you were used to at home?" asked the manager. "Yes," said Storm. "There are some things at home that I shall miss in England. There will, perhaps, also be things that will seem strange to me because they are different from what I am used to. But it will be very interesting to see things that are different, things that are strange to me." "There is another matter that I should like to mention," said the manager. "You will not receive your salary until the end of the month. If you have to wait 4 weeks before receiving any money, will you have enough?" "No," said Storm. "I must find a room, and it will be necessary to pay it in advance when I take it." "There will be other things too," said the manager, "so it will be necessary for you to have some money. If you like, you may have part of your salary in advance, and you might just as well have the money now. It is very kind of you, sir, to make me this offer. I shall be very glad to accept it. I never had much money, and after a fortnight's holiday, one hasn't got much money." The manager laughed, saying, "I can very well understand that you haven't got very much money after a fortnight's holiday. I am glad that you will accept my offer, and while we are speaking of this matter, you had better tell me how much money you require." Storm said he didn't know the prices in England yet, so that it was a little difficult for him to say how much he would require. At last, however, they agreed to make the advance £10. The manager now sent for a young Englishman by the name of Marshall, and asked him to introduce Storm to everybody in the office, and also tell him about his work. Storm was 6 feet tall, and he noticed that the Englishman was also about 6 feet tall, so that the 2 men were of about the same height. Many Englishmen are tall. Their height is greater than that of people in many foreign countries. Marshall said that he would lead the way, and he went in front, telling Storm to follow him. "All right," replied Storm. "If you will lead, I will follow you." Marshall asked Storm how long he had worked for the firm at home, and learned that he had worked for the firm for 5 years, so that he had had 5 years' experience. "I have only worked for the firm for 4 years," Marshall said. "I have less experience than you. How long have you been learning English?" "About 9 months," said Storm. "But although I can say many things, I can't express myself as well as I should like to. But now I shall get as much practice and experience in speaking your language as I could wish. You express yourself quite well in English, and as you will be speaking nothing but English from now on, you will soon get great practice in expressing yourself." "Do you find that English words are difficult to pronounce?" "Sometimes," Storm answered. "Your words are difficult for my tongue to pronounce, but I suppose that after a time my mouth and my tongue will get used to the English pronunciation." "Yes, I suppose they will. I am quite sure that the pronunciation of the words in your language would be very difficult to me at first. The manager told me this is your first visit to England. Do you like what you have seen in England?" Storm told him that so far he had enjoyed his stay in England very much, and that although he had learned about England at school, He was glad to see for himself what the country was really like. He said that the things you read about a foreign country are not always the real facts. If you want to know what another country is like, it is necessary for you to visit it yourself. It is a fact that books do not always give you the right impression. The firm was divided into 5 different departments, each with its own work to take care of. In order that Storm might see everything, Marshall took him round to each of the 5 departments of the firm. "It is my experience," said Marshall, "that the men in the different departments all think that the work they take care of is the most important. I think you will have the same experience. We'll begin by going to the factory where the different goods are made." Marshall led the way to the factory, and one of the men working there explained to Storm that this was the place where the goods were made. "We produce the goods, that is, we make the goods here. The other departments may be useful, but remember that we produce the things." Later on, they went into the department where the books were kept. Here they were told the same thing as in the factory. The department that keeps the books and gets the money for the goods that have been produced and sold must be the most important. The man to whom they spoke in this department told Storm that he was a Scot and not an Englishman. He showed Marshall a big book, saying to him, "Everybody that buys from us has an account in this book, in order that we may know how much money he owes us, that is, how much money he has to pay us. You can see that there are hundreds of accounts in this book, and I am sure you'll agree that it is very important to collect the money that people owe us as quickly as possible. That is my work. I am a bookkeeper, and I take care of the bookkeeping." Marshall told Storm that the London branch of the firm had been established in the year 1909, and that the Scottish man, or Scot as he called himself, had started working for the firm in the same year. He had worked for it ever since it was established. Storm asked Marshall what a man who works in an office is called, and learned that he is called a clerk. "You and I are clerks, then," said Storm. "I have never heard the word clerk before." After visiting the other departments, they went to their own, the correspondence department. Marshall now told Storm about his work. "We receive all the foreign post, or foreign mail as we usually call it," he said. "And first of all we open the letters, after which we take them to the different departments in order to get the answers. When you open the letter, there is a very good chance of getting some foreign stamps if you're interested in collecting stamps. Later in the day, we have to see that all the foreign letters are written and the mail sent off. These are the matters that we attend to in this department. You may be sure that it is quite enough to attend to, for the foreign mail is very big." "Thank you very much for all the useful information you have given me," said Storm. "If I want any more information about my work or other things here, I hope I may come to you for it." Exercise C. Grammar. If you have started the study of English by the nature method only in order to be able to speak to and understand an Englishman, as well as to read a newspaper or a good book in the English language, you need not work at this exercise. But if you want to go on with the study of English after you have finished reading these chapters, for example, in order to become a teacher of English, or because you are interested in the language itself, it will be necessary for you to go through Exercise C. It tells you something about the different sorts of words of which the English language is made up and how to use them. In other words, it teaches you English grammar in English. Language is made up of words. When we speak, we put the words together in sentences. Man, woman, teacher, always are words. He is a good man is a sentence. The words he is a good man have been put together to make a sentence. Grammar teaches us how to use the different words of a language and how to make sentences of them. We are now going to have some short exercises in English grammar. The names of things or the people that we speak about in our sentences are called nouns. Man is a noun. Woman is a noun. Storm is a noun. London is a noun. Here are some more nouns. Boy, cow, ice, book, train, paper, day, month, year, office, firm, teacher, experience, fact, department. These are all nouns. That is, they are names of people or of things we can tell something about. When a noun tells us of one thing or one person only, we call it a singular noun. Or we say that the noun is in the singular. Man, woman, boy, book, horse are all singular nouns. Only one man, one woman, etc. is mentioned. When a noun tells us of two or more things or persons, we call it a plural noun, or we say that the word is in the plural. Men, women, boys, books, horses are all in the plural. They are plural nouns because they mention more than one man, more than one woman, etc. Most English nouns add s in the plural. For instance, girl, house, room, tree, person, animal. When we speak of more than one of these, we say girls, houses, rooms, trees, persons, animals. Some English nouns, however, have no s in the plural. For instance, man, woman, child. The plurals of these three nouns are men, woman, children. We are going to hear more about this in the next chapter.